and welcome to the Cellar Door. I'm George and today I'm in Wollongong in New South Wales on my way to Headlands Distillery to meet the guys that founded it, to sample some of their unique spirits and possibly even give them a hand harvesting. Let's go.
One and a half hours south of Sydney, Wollongong sits beneath the dramatic Illawarra escarpment, where the Southern Highlands Plateau meets the coast. Later on, I'll be heading into the beautiful surrounding hills to pick some native plums for their gin. But first, time to find out how all this began. Hello Dean, hello Jared.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me at your distillery, Headlands Distillery. You're one half of the founding team, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm.
There's two other guys, Tom and Lachlan. We went to high school together and met Lockie at the start of uni, so all around Wollongong. We all love spirits, we all have a collection at home.
And the first time that you brought up Headlands Distillery, whose idea was that?
Well, Headlands was significantly further down the track than, you know,
Than high school?
This was just the idea. We're all out sort of having a few drinks one night, and the discussion kind of went around to, you know, how alcohol is actually made. And given that Jared, you know, he did a double of chemistry and engineering, he's obviously got the production knowledge pretty sorted. And then Tom, he did his PhD in sort of nutrition and economics, and he was actually doing it on novel grains. So he had a lot of contacts with a bunch of farmers through his PhD. Jared had the knowledge to actually, you know, of how to sort of make it. And my background is in economics and finance, and I've sort of got that business background that was like, oh look, let's combine all the skills. And
what a combo.
and sort of, make it work. And Lockie, he was doing his PhD at the time. You know, you have a few drinks, and you know, when you wake up the next morning, and you know the idea still has a bit of a, you know,
when you still think it's a good idea the next day, you know you're onto something.
Yeah.
It's not like we just sort of walked in and just went, you know, press 3 buttons and, you know, out comes.
Are you telling me it's difficult? So you can't just
a little bit.
Okay. All right.
It's tens of thousands of hours and time that's sort of gone into it, and it's.
Well, you've done extremely well. You guys have picked up some awards along the way, and
yeah, we just got a double gold in the San Francisco World Spirits Comp for our vodka, which is pretty
Congratulations.
cool. Yeah, and a gold for the Muscat whiskey in the London and also the San Francisco, which are the two biggest comps in the world.
Yeah.
So pretty happy about that.
Amazing. Yeah. So talk me through the last sort of 7 odd years of development and.
Started off making whiskey and vodka. Whiskey's actually easier to make than vodka because you don't need the column and a lot of the other purification equipment, but you need to be much more patient. It's all about the barrels and the fermentation flavors. So we started off with some whiskey, then worked on making a really pure vodka, which is actually the base of our gin.
Okay. And how much has the vodka recipe changed from those early days to the double gold?
Only sort of relatively marginally. Like, a lot of people think vodka, you know, should, you know, all taste the same because it's just ethanol and it's only with water. But obviously the ethanol will, you know, have different flavors based on what you get the ethanol from, and then the water, obviously depending on where you get the water from.
Speaking of vodka, let's dive in.
The most important thing is to have a taste. So
Great.
have
Thank you.
as much of that. And you know, vodka, everyone thinks odorless, colourless, tasteless, that should all taste the same.
But not yours.
You know, because of the way we make it and what it's made from. When you have a taste, it's, you know, for straight vodka, it's, you know, very easy to drink. It's incredibly smooth, and then when you put it in, you know, cocktails or when you add stuff to it, then the flavour will actually really sort of shine through. So you'll see what I mean when you have a taste, that you know, smooth enough to drink, but actually, you know, has quite the flavour.
Okay.
You'll see it has that, like, a little bit of a sweetness. It's almost like a vanilla-esque kind of note to it.
Yeah, totally.
It's,
That is unlike any vodka I have ever tasted.
I hear that a lot.
That's old news. That's really nice.
Easy to drink.
That would make a delicious martini.
Absolutely.
Central to Headlands' approach is a philosophy they call from grain to glass.
We were very lucky that Tom had some contacts out in the New South Wales Riverina. So we went out and we tried a whole bunch of different sort of varieties of grain, and we just sort of did a bit of experimentation, some combos, some with, this variety over the other. And it's just been like a slow process to sort of get there. But the thing that I'm really excited about is that every year, in theory, it's a slightly different product because, it's fresh grain every year, stuff that's a little bit different. So
It's all about the grain.
yeah, absolutely.
And you source all of that pretty locally, is that right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's about sort of 4 or 5 hours away from here. It's everything that we get from as close as practical.
The barley for the vodka and the gin base comes from a single farm,
Yeah, right.
which is really cool.
Super
Out in Temora.
local.
Yeah.
We're really lucky that we've sort of built that relationship with Mick out in Temora, that literally from before it even goes in the ground, he gives us updates on kind of what's going on. So
Is that unusual to be so closely interacting with all of
It is.
your...
It's not normal for a distillery to be able to actually dictate the strain of grain that we want
Yeah.
to grow. Like we have him grow Latrobe, Commander, Planet, and then he gives us samples of those and we take them through to vodka. And then we taste and then give him feedback about what we want for the next season.
Yeah, wow, that's
So,
super involved.
Grains like breeds of dog, there's hundreds and they're not all suitable, Some's for pizza, some's for like donuts, It's really wide and varied. So it's epic to have control over the process right from the very beginning.
And you're the head distiller.
Yeah.
So do you take the lead with sorting out
Yeah,
the breeds
and,
of dog that you want?
Yeah, so we'll take it into vodka, we'll do taste analysis, but we'll also send it off to a lab for gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, and we'll actually get the part per million chemicals, trace elements in the vodka, the ethyl acetate content, all the different chemicals that are in the vodka, so we can make it as smooth as possible, but also consistent.
I definitely
And that will relate
understood
back to the barley.
all of that. Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a quick look at the still will make more sense.
So, Jared, we're in the distillation room, which is your headquarters, I guess.
Yeah, we're here next to our continuous copper distillation column, so this is one of the most important parts of our distillery.
One of the most impressive ones that I have seen, I got to say.
So the copper in distilleries is actually a really important part of the process.
It's not just for aesthetics.
It's not just for aesthetics. So during the fermentation process, the yeast actually makes a few different sulfur compounds.
And you don't want them in
We don't
there.
want
No sulfur, thanks.
Yeah, we don't want it smelling like a rotten egg's hot springs
No.
or tasting like it. So the copper actually reacts with these sulfur compounds, and then after every few batches, we'll actually rinse those sulfur compounds off the copper surface. So the copper is actually a consumable. Every batch it's getting thinner and thinner.
Oh, right. So it's taking out the sulfur and putting in a bit of copper.
Yeah, so the walls of the still will actually absorb the sulfur compounds, those harsh flavors, and then we'll rinse that off back to a fresh shiny copper surface on the inside.
Does that mean that eventually it'll be
Yeah,
too thin
eventually
to...
I'll just be able to poke my finger through the still and we'll have to get a new one. So all the stainless parts will last forever, but the copper is actually a consumable.
Right. And
It will last a long time though.
Yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
it's a month thing.
my goodness.
Yeah.
So that's part of the vodka and gin making
for
process?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the huge benefits to this column is energy savings. We have a 5,000 litre fermentation tank
Which is this...
over on your left. So we'll pump that through the condenser, which is...
Is that this?
Yeah, we'll pump that through the condenser as the cooling liquid, as the still's running. And then the 20-degree fermentation liquid will be injected into the column already at 65 degrees for free. So we heat from 20 to 65 without using any power.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a massive energy saving.
Yeah. And sustainability is something that you're quite conscious of here.
Yeah, it's one of our focuses for sure. We give all our bottles back for the local bars and restaurants using a milk crate system.
So you recycle the bottles back,
Yeah.
or reuse, I guess.
Yeah, everyone gets a discount for giving their bottles back, and we go and we do the laps of the city and
Pick them
get all
up.
the bottles back, refill them, and drop them back off.
Like a vodka milkman.
Exactly.
Great.
Now that's a service I can get behind. More drinks after the break. I'm at Headlands Distillery on the south coast of New South Wales, where 4 friends are creating some pretty amazing spirits. I've had the vodka, now onto the gin.
And now your gin, your Boobyalla gin, is also not your average gin.
Yeah, the thing about a Boobyalla gin is that it actually has no juniper in it. Juniper is the flavour of gin, and I say there's no juniper with the caveat that it has the Boobyalla, which is an indigenous bush-sucker fruit that the indigenous population's been using for millions of years, but it's not as sort of potent and sort of intense as a normal kind of juniper. Technically, it's actually a completely different species, so scientifically, you could argue we're towing the line that it might not actually sort of be gin, but colloquially, people call it the native Australian juniper, so it has that sort of characteristic. And when you have a taste of that, you'll see that not only does it have that sort of complexity for the reasons that I'll sort of explain in a moment, but it's not going to hit you like a traditional sort of gin will. So
it's got a light kind of. It jumps out of the glass though.
See what you think? So you'll see it doesn't have that intense kind of juniper sort of flavour.
No.
It's smooth. And we find that the drinker that sort of loves this one, ironically, a lot of people that don't like gin like this because it doesn't have that sort of normal kind of juniper flavour. When people say they don't like gin, they often don't like that juniper kind of flavour. But you'll see it has that sort of complexity to it because there's a whole bunch of other native Australian botanicals in there.
It's got like a native bush kind of.
Yeah. Well, the Boobyalla itself is that sort of predominant flavour, but there's other ones. There's scented emu bush. We've got some Geraldton wax. We've got Atherton almond. My favourite one is Gumby Gumby, just because the name of it is really cool. It goes great. And a gin cocktail or a gin drink that you're not really just sort of pushing that mixer kind of flavour and having that juniper shine through. Something like a martini, it goes quite nice because obviously predominantly you're getting that sort of gin flavour out of it.
But it's not all fun and games around here. As usual, I'm getting put to work. So I'm taking a turn at the waxing dipping station. That's definitely the official title.
I've had a lesson from Dip Master Zach, so I'm now an expert on this. So if you would like to know, follow along. I've got a little pinch here on the tape. You dip at a 45-degree angle initially, so you don't trap any air, so there's no bubble. And then you turn it, dip, lift and allow a little drip. And then you want to line the drip up with the little tag bit. No, don't look at that yet. So that it's smooth everywhere else. There we go, and you can get rid of the excess over here if you want to do a little bit of that. Look at that. Look at that finish.
What can I say? I'm a natural. And it's not just me that's been put to work. The parents also pitch in on the bottling line.
I'm surprised they're not here, actually.
Oh, yeah.
If they send me a message and I don't write back, they just show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, what are we doing today?
Oh, that's
like,
lovely.
I haven't got anything ready for you to bottle. And they're like, oh.
They really want to work.
Yeah.
Happy to help us out. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. I mean, we'd be a lot further back without them, so.
What good boys. So you had humble beginnings, but you've obviously grown. There's some pretty hardcore machinery in your...
Yeah, we started off just fermenting and mashing in an old milk vat. That was backbreaking though, so we saved up some cash. Now we've got this that has a motor in it, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, Mum and Dad are grateful that they're not there
not
with
shoveling.
Yeah.
Concentrate on, improving the flavour rather than just spending all day shoveling. But there's still a lot of shoveling, don't worry about that.
Well, I'll consider myself lucky I've avoided the shoveling. Next up, Dean's favourite, and possibly my future favourite, the Muscat Cask Whisky.
It's similar-ish to a traditional Scotch, but it has a bit of sweetness. I mean, Muscat itself is your typical fortified wine. It's deep, it's sort of rich in flavour. The barrel that this one was finished in was treated with that sort of Seppeltsfield 15-year Muscat.
Oh, sure.
So when you have a taste of it, thank you. When you have a taste of it, you'll see that it's a little bit sweeter than a sort of traditional, light and dry kind of version of a Scotch. Mm-hmm. It's 46%, so when you drink it, there might be a bit of extra pepper on it, depending on how you normally have it. But for a lot of people that want to kind of mellow it out, you can just add a drop or two of water in there, and it really sort of releases the flavour.
It smells nice and sweet.
Yeah. So with me, when I drink that, I get like a butterscotch, and again, similar to the vodka, I get the sort of vanilla note that sort of comes through.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
It's a deep.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Deep.
Well, like I said, it's 46%, so depending on how you normally sort of drink, but yeah, if you add a drop or two into that, then yeah, it really releases that flavour. And the thing about whiskey is, you know, it needs to
At least 2 years.
sit in the barrel. Yeah, minimum 2 years. It needs to sit in the barrel and age, and that's where a lot of the flavour comes from.
So you've got your heat energy, you've got your bottle reusing. What other methods? I suppose you're sourcing everything locally, which would...
Yeah, one of the big problems with bottles that you see on the bottle store is they're all sealed with a plastic seal on top. And you can recycle that, but it's hard to recycle it back into the same product. You can only kind of like use it for like, you know, put it in roads or use it in park furniture. You can't recycle it as easily back into the same product. But we dip the bottles in a dyed beeswax, and you can just cut that off and remelt it, and it's good to go again for the same product.
So there's no sort of double processing of it?
Yeah, instead with plastics, you know, you might be able to change it into a nylon t-shirt or a park bench, but you can't make it back into the seal.
That's great. Do you recycle the cork as well?
Yeah, for the local bars and restaurants, that cork just keeps on going.
That's great. So what is your go-to cocktail?
My go-to cocktail is actually a gin sour, which is not using any of these products, and that's using our Illawarra plum infused gin. But I guess, you know, we'll have to show you the plums. We'll have to make you a cocktail. And
Yeah.
see what you think.
That sounds
if
great.
I'm making a cocktail, that's the one I go to.
And I've got to earn it by
Yeah.
picking some plums.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
It's time to get an insight into how their local ingredients are sourced. So after the break, I'm off to pick some plums. We've left the distillery and are driving up the Illawarra escarpment. Spanning 200 million years of geological history, the escarpment contains the most extensive area of rainforest in the Sydney Basin. It's a beautiful, misty day, and we're heading to a local family farm where the Headlands boys pick the native plums for their gin. Well, the Headlands boys and this host. Not a bad place to do some chores, is it? And now to get the rundown on all things bush plum.
So this is the famed Illawarra plum tree.
This is one of the famed
One
Illawarra
of.
plum trees.
Yeah.
One of. Absolutely.
There are many.
Yeah, it's about half an hour south of the distillery, and we're really quite fortunate that we've built a bit of a network of, you know, sort of people in the community that they've kind of heard what we're doing with the Illawarra plum, and they've got in touch and said, hey, we've actually got an Illawarra plum tree or multiple trees on their land, and they said, hey, you can come and you can actually, you know, sort of harvest the plums. And lucky we're here today on the property, and this is sort of, you know, one of many trees, as I mentioned, and this is where we get it from.
And what a view.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
it's incredible.
The clouds are taking off it a little bit, but you should see, yeah, the mountains in the background, it looks quite nice. And
Beautiful spot for some hard labour.
absolutely, yeah.
All right, time to get picking.
So we're trying to find the female trees, those ones that will have the fruits on them. The males only produce pollen, so
They don't grow the fruit.
no fruits. Yeah, so
Typical.
yeah. When we plant our own trees, we're trying to plant one male to every 8 females. So there's a tree here, and this is a female. You can see a couple of fruits,
Oh yeah?
but this is still a little bit unripe.
What about this one?
Yeah, that one doesn't look too bad. You pick that for sure.
I'll pick that. I just earned my drink at the end of this.
So we can probably get a couple more off this tree. But yeah, let's keep going and
Yeah,
find
well,
a tree
we've
with
got-
a few more
We've
fruits.
got a fair bit of space to fill.
Yeah, we do.
Do you usually just kind of wander and gently pluck a few here and there, or is it a
Yeah, for
more
sure.
hardcore?
All the fruits don't ripen at the same time. So we're generally coming to the same tree multiple times within the season. Yeah, it's not like they're all ready at once, which is really
No,
annoying.
this seems very labour intensive.
Yeah. So let's just have a bit more look around this tree.
Oh, hang on. Oh, I found one.
There's a couple more up there.
This is like an Easter egg hunt. So, and this is the seed, right? This
Yeah,
is
the seed's external, so we snap that off and we plant it. And there's no seed in the inside. There's just a little bit of a gristle, but you can eat that. It's nice to chew.
Is it?
Yeah.
So are you harvesting seeds as well to plant your
For
own?
sure, yeah. We're planting
orchard?
our own orchard at the moment. We've got a couple of thousand trees.
Oh, Oh, wow.
It's just, they're all in seedling stage at the moment.
So you've got to wait a little while.
They're in my backyard, my parents, Dean's grandmas, my Thomas's parents. Everyone's parents, the side of their house is just filled with Illawarra plum seedlings.
Cute.
Now, I've been warned that they're not the most palatable fruit to eat straight off the tree, but apparently I'm going to try them anyway.
The gristle is nice to chew. It's definitely gelatinous.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got all that on camera.
But then it leaves like a coating on your tongue.
When they're not perfectly ripe, it has a lot of tannins in the skin, like a strong Shiraz grape. It has a mouth drying effect.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The skin's actually filled with antioxidants. So, yeah, we can't market this as like a health drink, but you know, it's antioxidant full.
I'll take all that I can get. Thank you. Not quite the same as your garden variety plum, but perfect for gin. Seems like Jared's not letting me off that easy.
This tree's got quite a bit more fruit on it.
Oh, great, cool. I'll be right there. Never had to work this hard for a drink in my life.
So you can see some bigger ones under here.
Oh, yeah.
Pick those. There's two.
Is there a trick? Like, do you twist and...
Pull them off there. Doesn't matter.
Oh, great.
Oh, there's lots.
Magical.
There's lots up here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a little spider directly above my head.
It's protein.
Love that.
I'm not sure how many plums I'm expected to pick here, but yeah, I think I'm done.
I'm going to supervise. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, I think that's quite enough picking for now. Back in the distillery, Jared is whipping up the Illawarra Plum Gin Sour. A dash of lemon juice. All local, of course. A liberal pour of the plum gin. Some chickpea juice. Yep, you heard right. A few more secrets. A good shake. And voila.
And here they are.
Here they are.
Absolutely.
Presto. Thanks, guys.
Oh, no worries. See what you think of it.
Yeah,
Cheers.
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 I couldn't think of a better way to cap off this season of the Cellar Door. Don't worry, there are plenty more wineries and distilleries to visit, so I will see you soon. Bye-bye.